coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. Happy Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on the Twitter, on the Instagram. I guess on Threads, whatever. But anyways, you are now home with Dodgers Nation and Jim Beam. Please do drink responsibly. I'll tell you one guy who always drinks responsibly. That is the legendary king of LA. That is Doug McCain, DMac_LA, the hardest working man in show business, because this guy's in literally minutes after the show going to go hang out with Clayton Kershaw and the gang over at the ping pong tournament. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Nothing that I can do at the ping pong tournament can top talking to Dodgers fans, Dodgers Nation. Climpus is MLB Trade Madness is here, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Yeah, we got to talk trades. Of course, some moves have gone down since last we went live. Doug has put out a video on the YouTube already about the Rosario trade. He talked about the Kike move. So check those out. YouTube.com/DodgersNationTV. Subscribe while you're there. Hit the like. The thumbs up button is a like. Leave a comment on everything. That really does help out the channel a whole bunch. But on today's show, we are talking about the deadline so far. I guess this qualifies for them being aggressive. They're making moves early. What is the plan next? What is the plan after these trades? And what comes next over the next few days, trade deadline wise? Of course, we have to talk Nolan Arenado, which the rumors kind of got bigger-ish, I guess we'll say, in the last few hours. So we're also a podcast that's on Spotify, all your spots. So if you want to hear the show, jump in on those things and give us an 80 million star review. That helps us out. And one final plug, and it's not even a plug, it's something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is the Dodgers Nation app. Go on your phone. It looks like this sometimes. Download the DN app. It's in all of your app stores, and you get the news. You don't get the weather, but you do get Doug videos. You get our podcast. You get the stores in there, all that kind of stuff. Just search Dodgers Nation pod or Dodgers Nation in your app store. Just search Dodgers. We'll probably pop up. It'll say Dodgers Nation app. It looks real cool. That's all I got. You talk for a little bit now. I know you've already talked about the Rosario move.
I want to get your thoughts, though. Okay.
Your guys' thoughts on this real quick.
Like I'm saying, this could be one of the most expansive, one of the most incredible deadlines for the Dodgers. I think they could make a ton of moves. Maybe they don't make a lot of moves, but it has started. And that's the most important thing to me, is that they do look like you're starting to see those first couple of moves on the chessboard. Doesn't look like Andrew Friedman is saying checkmate yet, but you're starting to see the warm-up. It's not even the appetizer with Kike Hernandez. It's like the ice cube in the water right when you get there. We're not even at the appetizer. We're not even at the chips and salsa yet, but bringing Kike Hernandez back in Dodger blue, I think it was a good move. I think it made a ton of sense when you consider that, hey, this is a guy that you never know when he's going to explode. You never know when he's going to get hot. You've seen what he did in the 2021 postseason for the Red Sox. You saw what he did in 2020, the game-tying home run off of A.J. Minter. Saw the 3-home run game in the clincher, but also the vibes, the Kike dance before the game. That definitely is something. But, yeah, if you look at his numbers, he's had an awful year. He's been one of the worst players in Major League Baseball, so it definitely feels like the Dodgers are out there and they're looking to get these change of scenery guys. And I don't want a change of scenery guy. I want a change the game guy. I want a game changer. But this is a start. But really what it comes down to is Kike has shown the ability to hit left-handed pitching. We know he can do that. And the Dodgers, they saw something in his swing with Brant Brown, with RVS, that they can change some things. He already had 2 hits in his first game. But Kike is back. The banana is back in L.A.
The big thing about this move is that they're not picking him up to take over for Mookie Betts. They're not picking him up to take over for David Peralta, Freddie Freeman. No, they're picking this guy up to take over for Yanni Hernandez. This is like one of the last guys. Unless, like I ended last week's show, unless they let him catch, or on Monday's show I said let Kike catch. He's got a bad ERA.
Yeah,
sure. He's got a bad ERA. They don't let him
pelvic thrust.
They don't let him let it eat. But they're credit to Andrew Friedman, man. He's doing what he does best, and that is improving on the margin. So that's what that move is. He's a guy who has a track record. They know he fits in this club. I had also mentioned on Monday, one of the things Dave Roberts had said very recently was you have to kind of watch the character you're bringing into the clubhouse, because this is a very good group of dudes. And again, we've talked about it. You've been in that clubhouse. They're not just goofing around. Pardon my English there, but they're there to do their work, but they're also there to have fun. So you got to add the right pieces of that, and Kike definitely fits. So,
yeah.
Do I love the move? No. I'm okay with it. I'm not as excited as other people. I was never a massive Kike guy, but he's also, they wouldn't have a World Series championship if it wasn't for Enrique Hernandez. So it's a good move in that regard. He has the playoff pedigree. He's had the big moments a number of times over his tenure with the Dodgers. So in the grand scheme of it, you pull back, you look at this is the 12th or 13th guy on the position player side of the roster. It's a really good move, and it didn't cost much of anything. Apologies to Nick Robertson.
Yeah, you bring up great points in that he's not a guy that's going to be expected to go out there and be an everyday player. And that is where you get things wrong with Kike Hernandez. When you try to make him an everyday player, that is when he gets exposed. And with the Red Sox, with Trevor Story being injured, he was playing that shortstop position, and that's why he struggled. He really should be in the outfield at this stage of his career. And also, too, I think if you change his role where he's strictly a platoon guy, you're going to see better results. And even if you look at the last 2 years, he has been below average against lefties. This year, though, he's hitting .260 and 89 appearances against lefties this year. So hopefully use him in a very specific role against left-handed pitching. Hopefully that defense has an uptick. And yeah, you have to like the results early on. And I think change of scenery, he said that, hey, he's coming home. Hopefully that banana doesn't spoil, right? And hopefully he plays well. But I think the more important move was the Ahmed Rosario move, because
this
Rosario,
is a guy you've been talking about for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about him after Gavin Lux went injured. We talked about some names they could replace him with, and the reality is there's just not a lot of above-average shortstops in Major League Baseball, especially ones that come on the cheap. And you look at Ahmed Rosario, he's the guy where you talk to Guardians fans, they don't love him. They'll tell you that he hits into a ton of double plays. They'll tell you that defensively he's the worst in the game, and really the numbers bear that out.
Yeah, the numbers will tell you that.
A minus 16 defensive runs saved, but he's another guy where you put him in a specific role with his Dodgers team, and I think that he has a chance to thrive in the role they have for him. There's a lot to like. I mean, I posted yesterday on Twitter, since June 1st, his .301 batting average is second in Major League Baseball among qualified shortstops behind Corey Seager. So he definitely a 108 weighted runs created plus is 11. So he's been an above average bat for the last 2 months. He's a guy that's always finished season strong. And you look at the pros, he has a proven track record and ability to hit left-handed pitching. His ability against left-handed pitching has always been impressive. So that's something that the Dodgers are going to benefit from. But yeah, the major pros are definitely that's number one. For his career, hitting .302 with a 123 weighted runs created plus. So that means from an offensive production standpoint, he's 23% above league average when it comes to the lefties. Also, though, runners in the scoring position, he's hitting .348 this season. So remember a couple years ago in 2021, out of nowhere, Eddie Rosario went crazy. You never know. Maybe it's a guy on the margins that steps up and plays big.
Get yourself a Rosario in the postseason. Good things could happen, I guess.
Exactly. And as Noah pointed out, he was listed by the Dodgers when they announced the move as an infielder outfielder. So wait a second. This is a guy who hits left-handed pitching, can play the outfield or the infield. That sounds like someone I know. Chris Taylor. Is there a move possibly with Chris Taylor? Maybe that could be a segue to that. So I do think that's very interesting. I think there's a lot of chess pieces on the board. I think Andrew Friedman knows exactly what he's doing. Like I always said, he only speaks when it's time to yell checkmate. Hasn't been ready to say checkmate yet, but I think that he's heading towards that.
Yeah, we want to get people's thoughts in the chat real soon. Big time producer man at Noah Cameras is on the board right now.
Sir,
but first I want to touch on the Rosario stuff a little bit. Like again, it's another really good move because whose spot is he taking? He's not taking anybody necessarily important. That would have been Johnny DeLuca's spot, but he ended up hurting himself. But they are trying to address an issue that they've had for years, and that is offense against left-handed pitching. Because when you're in the postseason, when you're playing in October, the most meaningful games you're going to play every year, they're facing the best versions of left-handed pitchers on teams. So you try to fix that. Quit letting that issue linger and linger and linger like they have in years past. And it feels like they're going into a full-blown platoon situation. And I also kind of wonder about the future of Max Muncy's playing time. I want to touch on that in a second. But Noah, what's going on in the chat, man? How are people feeling about Kike? I'm guessing there's a lot of love for Kike, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, we got some. Honestly, a lot of people are now talking about the big Arenado trade, which obviously
we'll definitely get to that for sure.
People are even talking about Shohei Ohtani after what he did today, which was just absurd. But there's a lot of love for Arenado. So we have ABZ Track says, oh, yeah, please get CT3 out of here. So obviously we're going to talk about Chris Taylor a little bit later. We got something over here from just lost that one. More Ohtani. People saying trade for Joe Kelly, David Bednar. So people are talking. Someone said anything to keep Mookie in the outfield. So this one is an interesting thought of That one's from Oscar Prince Boateng, wanting to Kimuk in the outfield, get these infielders, Kike.
Yeah. And that's what we talked about on the show a couple of days ago, is there's a couple of things that this accomplishes. That's also one. And then you look at his ability to play the infield and the outfield. He was listed as an outfielder. He's played multiple games in the outfield. He played 18 games in center field in 2021, made 14 starts. So I definitely think you're going to see him in the outfield. He's a guy that is an absolute tear on the base pass as far as how quick he is. Doesn't steal as many bases as he should, but still the talent is there. The potential is there. And also he's going to be a massive upgrade from Miguel Rojas potentially. So Miguel Rojas is essentially an automatic out at this point, especially when he lifts the ball, and it looks like he's on E.
Yeah. Again, you think he's on drugs?
Big E guy.
Yeah, he's big time.
It means when your gas tank doesn't have gas.
Yeah, we're all aware. Calm down there, Mr. Electric Car. All right. So Rosario's bad at shortstop. Hernandez is bad at shortstop. Rojas is very good at shortstop, bad at hitting ball. So you have... They seem to be, I don't know what they're setting up for. I think Rosario's played some third base. They obviously listed him as an infielder, outfielder type of dude. Are you going to get like 2018 vibes from this team with like the full blown platoon? Like each time there's a lefty on the mound, there's a complete. I mean, they've already been doing that for the most part. It's a very different looking lineup versus left-handed pitching. It seems like it's setting up that way, and I also wonder about the Rosario situation. With Muncy, regarding Muncy, like, are they possibly considering pulling the plug on Muncy as an everyday guy at third base if they put Rosario at third here and there, against left-handed pitching? That's just one idea. They obviously need to figure out some things. I'm sure they have ideas on how they want to do it, but yeah. I kind of wonder, man, because Muncy he heated up a little bit, but he's still, the average isn't there. The on base is down. The slug comes in bunches, and I mean, with where he's hitting in the lineup, I don't think they're going to do that. But I also, kind of wonder, are they going to potentially platoon Max?
It's definitely something they might consider. I mean, if you look at his numbers right now, he's a guy that still is above average, a 118 weighted runs created plus, like you said, a sub 200 batting average, but he has hit 25 home runs. And yeah, you could see him in a platoon situation, especially if they trade for Nolan Arenado. You could see him at second base. You can have different guys playing that second base position, because we know that second base outside of first base is really Max Muncy's best position defensively. Yeah. He makes the best reads off the bat there. So that would be ideal. And they're looking to find a long-term solution at the hot corner. It's definitely Max Muncy, and I definitely think he is a liability. It's been a bar of soap season for him as far as him picking up the ball, and you're kind of worried about him in the postseason, but really it's not even balls that are hit directly at him. It's really the down the line. I mean, you saw Ha-Seong Kim in the NLDS. That's a concern. So, yeah, I think if you could shore up that position, find a way to get a third baseman, you place Max Muncy at second base. But I do think when you look at his splits, they're not extreme, right? They're not something where you say, oh, this is a guy who can't have balanced splits, and he's such a dangerous hitter. He has such a long track record of postseason success, and they need him to be a bopper. I mean, he's a prolific slugger when he's on. He's really kind of gotten back on track of late, so I don't know if that's the plan, but I do think part of the plan might also be, let's get him to second base where he's less of a liability defensively.
Yeah, I like that idea. And, if the plan or if the hope, if the desire, if the goal is to move Mookie back in the outfield more often, then that's how you do it. You get Max at second base. You get him moving around, and he's a boy that enjoys moving around a little bit more than some folks might. Looks like we have some excitement going on in the background. What do we got over there, Noah?
Oh, we got some excitement. All right, we got 2 super chats.
Oh, that is loud. We are much lower than that.
I'll figure out how to fix that after. We got 2 super chats here. First one, they went back to back. First one is from Zeppelin27901. He said, we need, the Dodgers, of course, need a minimum of 2 starters and a big-time reliever not named Joe Kelly for a World Series run. Joe cost us 2019 and literally broke his window at home. So
Hilarious.
First part of that saying need minimum 2 starters and a big-time reliever, which I agree with them. You guys want to give some quick thoughts on that, and we'll get to the next one?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely seems like a formula. I like that shopping list right there. I think you absolutely need, at the very least, 1 starting pitcher. We'll see if they get anything out of Walker Buehler later in the year. Yeah. Tony Gonsolin, the velocity's up, but he really hasn't found it. Julio Urias hasn't been Julio Urias this year. He still has yet to put together consistent starts since he's returned. Clayton Kershaw, after what we saw in 2021, to me, it's always touch and go with Clayton Kershaw as far as health. And then we all know that, yeah, really no one else. Bobby Miller might be your game 2 starter right now.
Yeah,
I mean, he's been the most dependable of the bunch at the moment.
It feels like it's let's play a world here. Let's live a world where Walker Buehler is back and he somehow proves himself. You're still probably not going to throw him out for game 1, so it's either going to be Kershaw or Bobby Miller at this point because Julio ain't it, Tony ain't it, and he kind of seldom ever is in the postseason. So
I would trust a windowless van that said free candy more than I would Tony
Joe Kelly
Gonsolin
break
during
the window?
Oh yeah,
There we go.
That's a good one.
it was more of a window.
How do I make it quieter? I think I already did.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, here we go. Got another super chat.
That works.
All right, woo. All right, so we
we
gotta do the Dodgers. Okay, so we actually have 2 more. First one was Bob Nightingale,
Bob!
USA Today's own. He
Our
said, Dodgers.
Totally legit.
Yeah, totally legit. Real Bob. He said Dodgers interested in Zach Hampel for outfield depth. Obviously, we all know Zach Hampel is.
Oh no, Zach Campbell. I think that next time that a ball goes into the stands, they should throw him back.
That's a
not
good
the-
one. Okay, well, apparently the Dodgers are interested in him. And then
Assault.
he said, also, hello, fellas. Keep up the great work. Love, Bob.
Thank you,
that's
Bob.
nice. And one more. This one from, also both of those were $5. This
Thank
one
you
so much.
we got from Noah Ortega. Great name, Noah. $1.99. He said, Kike has to make up for Bellinger's shoulder injury. Not enough. Yeah.
I mean,
He had a loosey-goosey shoulder, and
yeah, well, Belly did have a bad shoulder. He had a bum shoulder, but also they won a World Series.
yeah, it
Really
was
kinda
exciting.
making
It
up
was a
for it?
freak accident. Yeah, I'll never
whatever, I'll
forget.
lie
He
into it.
just was
Hey,
like all limpy, twirled.
Listen, as long as the only thing Kike isn't adding is more dance moves, like they already got the dancing on lock.
You gotta wear your cup around Kike though, with the pelvic thrust, like high five the
yeah,
JT.
like his whole thing about JT is like one of us was naked. It's like just get over it, man. Like we get it. You're so cute.
That was really weird.
Yeah.
Just want to add, that was really weird.
Still blocked by him online.
really
anyways,
weird.
so
Yeah,
just
that
saying.
wasn't very interesting. I mean, if he doesn't produce, the honeymoon phase will definitely be over pretty quickly if he doesn't produce or
I'm
do
just
anything.
saying, if he wants the dub, he's got to slug.
Got the slug.
Yo, we got to do a shot every time. When Cody gets here, we'll do a shot every time we say that. All right, well, moving on. Yes, a lot of people already in the chat talking about it, and we're burying the lead a little bit, but we got to talk once again about Nolan Arenado because there are kind of new-ish rumors that have popped up today. Los Angeles Times, Jorge Castillo, I'm assuming inspired by Noah Cameras. Read it first on DodgersNation.com.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, but Nolan, the idea of Nolan gaining just a hair of traction, we'll say. I forgot exactly how he said it, but there's interest. The Dodgers are how did he put it again, Noah? They're exploring.
He just said they've engaged in trade talks.
They've
And
engaged.
he said that they're very interested in him, even though ESPN's Alden Gonzalez already said they're enamored with him. But yeah, it's a lot of the same.
yeah.
But
That's what happens
Yeah,
in this.
that's what happens.
This time of year. You get John Heyman doing the same Shohei Ohtani article all season long. So. But this one, Castillo went a little bit deeper with it. Yeah, they're engaged in conversation. Of course, the Dodgers are engaged with every single team in conversations about players that are good at baseball. But Nolan has always seemed to fit this Dodger roster because he should fit any team. He's one of the best to ever play third base as a Major League Baseball man. Castillo expanded, though, mentioning, of course, they want top-tier pitching. He mentioned Bobby Miller. He mentioned Gavin Stone. He mentioned some other guys. Check out the article or read about some of our Noah's thoughts on it over on InsideTheDodgers.com. But a couple of the other things he had mentioned, too, Castillo, was the pitching from the Cardinals side of thing. Jordan Montgomery and what the hell's the guy's name? I can't think of the damn pitcher's name right now.
Jack Flaherty.
Jack Flaherty. I don't know why words are hard. But them and mixing in Chris Taylor and Max Muncy as guys potentially that could go back to St. Louis in a deal. So I don't know how much you saw of all that, but whatever you have in the tank on that, give me some reactions and let's kind of explore the idea of. It sounds like there's different tiers of trades that can happen with this with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, so first thing I want to say is that the Dodgers, if they're interested in a prospect, if they're interested in trading away some of their top prospects, the Bobby Millers of the world, some of their top pitching prospects, the Cardinals need pitching, and the Dodgers have pitching. The Dodgers have all the prospect capital, all the requisite ability to take on money. But I actually think if they're going to make a big trade, if they're going to be aggressive, I think on my spidey senses, my tradey senses, they're telling me that there's a pretty solid chance that this gets done. I really think there's a chance that the Dodgers trade for Arenado, because this is what my thought process here. My thought process is Andrew Friedman, since the expanded postseason, he has not liked to deal at the deadline. Look at yesterday. Look at the Giolito deal. Yes, the Angels gave up 2 of their top 3 prospects, but still, both those guys were below 5 of the Dodgers' top prospects, right? If the Dodgers wanted Giolito yesterday, they could have gotten him, but they didn't want Giolito. I think that the Dodgers don't want to compete with other teams. They don't want to have to overpay. Like I always say on this show, Friedman likes to buy the Halloween candy the day after Halloween. But with the Cardinals, it's a different story, because the big kicker here and the wrinkle is Arenado has a no-trade clause. He would have to waive that no-trade clause. And if the Cardinals want to move him, if the Cardinals are interested in maybe getting big-time prospects and trying to replenish their farm system and trying to get to that next era, it makes a ton of sense. And yes, you would have to shake hands with the enemy. We know that the Redbirds and the Dodgers, the birds on the bat and the boys in blue, that to me is the Dodgers' second biggest rival, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
But they also realize they're a smart organization. They're not going to do something like Artie Moreno did and let the best player ever essentially walk and get a compensation pick. They know what they have in Nolan Arenado, and they realize that if you're going to trade him, this might be the best time to do it. They know that if you look at his numbers, I think he still rakes. He absolutely does. A 130 weighted runs created plus. I think he would rake in Dodger blue in this lineup. Defensively, yes, he's having the worst year of his career, but we're talking about a 10-time Gold Glove Award winner, a 6-time Platinum Glove Award winner, the best defensive third baseman of all time, in my opinion. And I think for the Dodgers, the reason why I think they possibly make this move, I'm not ready to say they're going to make this move like it's a slam dunk, but I definitely think there's a pretty decent chance they pull it off, is because you're not competing with anyone. Because essentially the Dodgers are the only team in Major League Baseball that Arenado would waive his no-trade clause to go to.
This is true.
He went to El Toro High School in Newport Beach. He used the same trainer as Freddie Freeman in Newport Beach. I mean, there's a lot of connections here. He grew up a Dodger fan. The connections are limitless. And what I always say, too, is it always has to go beyond just you as a player with the Dodgers. He has that. There's the connection, the marketability. Jerseys will sell. He'll definitely get that box office appeal. And also, too, if you look at his contract, Clint, that's what I really want to touch on next and get your thoughts on is, if you look at that contract, $109 million left, right? The last year is $15 million. So if you were to include Chris Taylor in that deal, who still has $26 million left.
There's a good contract offset.
I mean, that's a steal for Nolan Arenado. Look at what Manny Machado just signed for. Look at what Rafael Devers just signed for. I mean, to get a player of his caliber, it would be an absolute steal. And then you get a Flaherty, then you get a Jordan Montgomery. And yeah, those guys aren't surefire aces, but who's to say if the White Sox are willing to deal Dylan Cease? The prospect capital for him, considering he has 2 years of team control left after this season. Justin Verlander, you really want to see him in Dodger blue. I mean, pros, Kate Upton, cons, Ben Verlander. So I don't want to see that. Max Scherzer, kind of been there, done that. I would be open to it under certain circumstances. But yeah, you're probably not getting that ace, but you're definitely getting a pitcher that can help. And Nolan Arenado, who that would take Mookie, Freddie, and Arenado as your core. He would be the solution at third base. You would take Max Muncy off of third base. He rakes against left-handed pitching. And that, to me, tells me you're pushing all those chips in the middle of the table and you're going all in with this core. Because why else would you have signed Freddie Freeman? Freddie Freeman wasn't a traditional signing. He was above 30 years old. They would both be on the Dodgers through their age 27 season. So I think it makes sense.
That was one of the things I was going to say. I wanted to bring up or bring back something you've been saying on Twitter all year long, all season long, something you've said on the show a number of times. Look, we are living through the prime of Mookie Betts, the prime of Freddie Freeman. This is the time where if you're going to go all in and respect these dudes that agreed to play with you for the rest of their careers, maybe not Freddie, but agreed to play with you and be here for this long in their career, you have to reward them by saying, hey, we're going to go out there and get the best potentially available offensive player at the time. And yeah, the last 2 guys the Dodgers have acquired so far at this trade deadline have been like kind of head scratchers because they are having god awful years. Nolan not having a great year by his standard, but it's still Nolan F. Arenado. This is a difference maker on a team in a clubhouse. He wants to win. He's hungry. and this Castillo thing and what you're talking about, if you are pulling the pitchers from there, two more things, and I know Noah's got some stuff in the tank. I've said the last the few of these episodes or few of these live streams, they are going to deal with one team. It's going to be the big trade, the big difference maker for the postseason is going to be with one team. And if that is going to be the Cardinals, it makes a lot of sense. It feels like now it's not going to be the White Sox because, hey, Lucas Giolito is an angel and he starts tomorrow. The final thought I have, it sniffs a little bit like how the way it started with the Scherzer Trey Turner stuff in 21. That's what I'm kind of sensing because it was other people talking about it a little bit. And over the weekend, we're going to see the Padres in on it, or probably not the Padres. They don't need a third baseman. You're going to start to see more teams' names thrown out there as the Cardinals try to find a way to pull more from the Dodgers. But this could be the 2023 version of the Scherzer. Last time they were going for Scherzer and Trey Turner was kind of the throw-in. This time it's Arenado and Flaherty's kind of the throw-in. But Tuesday is going to be the ish. Noah, what you got for me?
Yeah, a bunch of stuff to go through. First of all, chat's absolutely firing
Yes,
right now.
sir.
If you're in the chat, make sure you drop a like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like you said, Clinch has said Tuesday is going to be fire. We're going to be going live on Tuesday for the trade deadline, so you don't want to miss that. We got a lot to talk about. First of all, D-Mac getting a lot of love for that Arenado little speech right there. People
Was it a speech?
D-Mac, I don't know, it was like a monologue. D-Mac, people would say D-Mac cooking, D-Mac fire right now. So some love for D-Mac. But also,
I know that guy.
You know what happens here, guys. We got super chats. And the best part about it is they are all relevant super chats. So let's start
we love a relevant
with
super chat.
Reed Hallett, $5.
Thank you, Reed.
He said, "This may not buy me a shoey, but bring Nolan home. Don't give up Bobby. Get Montgomery in the trade and give D-Mac a raise."
Yo.
So
send it straight to the top. I agree fully with the Bobby Miller. That's the one guy I think is untouchable.
So
the one guy I think is untouchable is Bobby Miller right now.
So what if there's been some talk that they want to get an extension done with Jordan Hicks, but if it's Hicks or Flaherty or Montgomery plus
I stand by
Arenado.
my statement.
I agree with Clint. I think Bobby Miller's
I'm not very high on Jordan Hicks.
Yeah, I'm just saying. They needed a reliever, and just going back to your theory that you're going to get a bulk trade, right? It's going to be a buy one, get two free, whatever
Costco,
it may be.
Baby.
Yeah, exactly, right? And we need the Kirkland player, right? Someone can help out. We also need the premium stuff too, right? So I think that is something that you might consider. Now, Bobby Miller, he's pretty close to untouchable. In my opinion, there's no such thing as untouchable. That's just my opinion right there, because this is a team that has to win a World Series to crystallize, to cement this front office's legacy. The mission hasn't been accomplished. It has not been accomplished with this group, and I think you bring in a Nolan Arenado, and if it takes a Bobby Miller, let's just look at this. You're talking about, look, Rafael Devers, he just signed 11 years, $331 million.
Yeah.
Manny Machado, 11 years, $350 million. You're talking about if you found a way to get Chris Taylor included in that trade, that gives you $26 million off the books. So you're talking about basically $83 million for 4.5 years of Nolan Arenado. Oh, and wait. The Colorado Rockies, they're paying $5 million of that salary in 2024, $5 million in 2025. They're still paying that deal. By the way, the Colorado Rockies paid the Cardinals to take away their best player of their franchise's history. The Rockies are terrible.
Dick Monfort is a moron, man.
Absolutely.
He is just an absolutely terrible owner, one of the worst owners in baseball. And he was like a lead voice during the contract negotiations for the lockout and on all that. And give me more.
Yeah, going to keep going. First of all, a lot of the comments are saying Bobby Miller untouchable. Don't trade Bobby. Anyone but Bobby. But also, we got two more super chats. Do the dance, Doug.
You will dance.
Hey, what's
First
the
one
I can't
here.
do a Kike. I need doctor supervision to do that. I don't mean.
Give him some ibuprofen stat.
First one we got here from Francisco Avila. He says Nolan with Flaherty and Hicks or Montgomery is what we need. Bring two hometown kids back home. That's obviously Nolan Arenado and Jack Flaherty are hometown kids. That was $9.99. So thank you, Francisco. And then one more on this topic. I know we're going to keep talking about this topic, so it's very much on brand here. Diane Schroeder, $10. Thank you very much, Diane. She says, how many Dodger dogs do you give the Arenado rumors? Doug, I think I'm going to you.
Man, I got to give it 3.5 Dodger dogs. I think
Whoa,
there's more
that's
than
massive.
some serious smoke. I definitely think that this Dodgers team, there's just not a lot of aggressive moves that they want to make that make a ton of sense. And that's what this team has been able to do. That's why this organization has had sustainable winning, is because they don't have a ton of money on the books. You look at after next season, who do you have? You have Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and Chris Taylor, and you could include Chris Taylor in that deal. Compare that, that's about $78 million, right? $78 million right now. You compare that to what the Braves are at right now. The Braves are at $148 million with all those extensions, because you know why? The Dodgers have the prospect capital to get some of these players, and you get them for 4 or 5 years, it's fine. I mean, there's going to be a lot of franchises out there. The Phillies, Mets, franchise like that, they're going to have to pay these 10, 11-year deals that are going to age like guacamole in the sun. You don't want to have that, because at that point, these players are as useless as a used lottery ticket, and you don't want to have that, right? So I think if you're some of these players, a used scratch off lottery ticket. Sorry,
Okay,
sorry,
that makes more sense.
You raise your hand.
What
Sorry.
if somebody dropped it and it had money? They were excited, but then they just dropped
Okay,
it.
a useless as a used lottery ticket that is not a winner.
Ah,
A non-winner.
A
used
non-winner,
lottery
yeah.
ticket.
But I just think like the big thing for me, like the number one thing, and I interviewed someone who covers the Cardinals, and we talked a little bit about this, and yeah, he agreed with me in that the Dodgers, there is no competition. I mean, look at Lucas Giolito. I'm sure the White Sox, you had so many teams calling for Lucas Giolito. You have other people calling for all these big names that are available on the market. Really, for it's Arenado, there's no one else. There's no one on the other line, right? There's no call waiting. It's nothing like that.
And a lot of these other teams can't afford to pay Nolan next year and the year after.
Exactly. There's not a lot of teams that have the financial muscle, and this is not going to preclude the Dodgers from going after Shohei Ohtani. It is not.
Had to get one in.
It just isn't. I mean, and you need to find. And by the way, Cody Hosey had a pretty nice game the other day, but still, he's not someone that is going to be your long-term solution. Nolan Arenado. Look, this is the thing. If the fact that they're listing right now, and the Dodgers, yes, you have to shake your hands with the enemy, like I said earlier.
Yeah.
Of course, one of my favorite players, of course, Rafael Furcal. 2011, they traded him to the Cardinals for Alex Castellanos. So yeah, there have been done some deals. Also, 1988, the Dodgers traded Pedro Guerrero to the Cardinals. There are deals, there are examples, and this is the thing. Cardinals are a smart organization, and look, the reality is the fact that there is communication, the fact that there are talks between the two, that lets me know they're saying, okay, can we get Bobby Miller? Can we get Gavin Stone? Can we get Andy Pajes? Who is available? And look, the reality is that if I go to you, you love your house, the house you grew up in, right? All these memories, and you don't want to sell that house. If I offer you 4 or 5 times what that house is worth, you're like, I'll find another house, right? And look, the Cardinals, that's not where he grew up. That's not his house. His house, Los Angeles. That's where he grew up. You got to bring Nolan Arenado home. I think if you're going to make the move, that's going to be the move. And the reason why I kind of changed my tune on this is because there's just not many other aggressive moves.
It's because
not many
you
starting.
it's because you watched the King in action. You know, I'm just saying.
Well, it's because
I 3 weeks ago, bring him home.
Bring him home.
I've been on
Bring
Nolan
him.
before anybody was on Nolan.
Hey,
It
someone
made a
read
lot
my
of
article.
sense.
Someone read
Somebody
my
read
article.
somebody
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell
man.
me-
It just
making
makes
all
a
the
lot of
points in
sense
my article.
because
DodgersNation.com.
I don't think any of us are sold on the future at third base as Max Muncy. Love Max. He is one of our favorite people. Second base, a little bit of utility, whatever it is, but it's not third.
It isn't. It really is not.
You're raising your hand.
2 quick things. One, first of all, in my article, I said bring Arenado to be the third baseman of the future, which I think is a very big reason why they should make this trade. It's not like a 1-year rental at third base. Like you said, there's no plan at third base. Cody Hosey's not that guy. The Dodgers have a clear need at third base. Max Muncy's not the answer. This is 4 years of Arenado. But also, you know what we got, guys? We got a super chat. This one, I'll hit that.
Thank
All right,
you.
this one is from KTAZ1207, and it is perfectly what we're talking about, because I think it's a great question that we all want to know and want to know your guys' answers. $4.99, do you think they would trade Max and Taylor, and will St. Louis retain salary on Arenado? Thank you guys for making these vids/streams go Dodgers.
Thank you, K-Tez.
So, Max, will they trade Max and or Chris Taylor, and would the Cardinals take any of that salary?
I think Taylor's the guy they're looking at first because of the years, and they kind of Taylor became a redundancy with the Rosario, with the Kike trade. If they're able to do that to offset some salary, that's the guy they're looking at trading first. Muncy, it's an option, so there's no guarantee he's back next year.
Yeah, and I think the Dodgers value Max Muncy in the postseason. I really do. And like you said, he has a $10 million club
they
option.
value him, period, for one. But go ahead.
No, absolutely. I think Chris Taylor, like you said, there's other guys that are on the team now that can do what he does. And the reality with Chris Taylor, he's never done anything wrong in his life other than be a below-average baseball player ever since he signed that 4-year, $60 million contract.
Man.
That's just the reality. That's just
Twitter is gonna light you
That's
up.
just the hey, look. Hey,
listen, they don't like.
I always say, don't fall in love with players unless they're
yes, he does.
Mookie Betts or Freddie. Fall in like with most players. Okay,
wow. that was some heat by D-Man.
Well, I'm just saying, if you can get off a Chris Taylor contract that you basically can save $26 million, basically apply that. It's like getting store credit. Apply it towards Arenado. And look, what I've always said, you said the third baseman of the future. It's the third baseman of now. If you get 2 years out of Nolan Arenado, like I said, this is not a last dance situation. This is senior prom, right? And I think Arenado, you get a nice little homecoming, okay? So I think that really makes the most sense. Try to find a way to get that deal done. I will say I'll go against the grain. If it required a Bobby Miller to get a Flaherty and a Montgomery, I would actually do that deal.
Whoa, what a monster. Local internet legend Doug McCain.
And I love Bobby Miller.
Slammed by co-host.
I love Bobby Miller. But are you going to help me win this year?
You can't trade the guy that if you do pick up some pieces and Bueller comes back, where you can't trade your game 4 starter right now.
I'm just saying,
that's a problem.
If you're going to do that deal, you're going to probably get a Flaherty or Montgomery. Those are two guys that can help.
I'd rather find a way to oversaturate the deal with a Sheehan.
It's the last thing I would do.
And like a Frasso and hold on to
get Michael Grove out of there, too.
It's the last thing I would do. It's the last thing I would do.
I like Grover as a reliever at some point for this team.
It would be my very last option. But if it came down to hearing dial tone or Bobby Miller, but I get Arenado, 2 pitchers, and possibly a reliever, I'm telling you, if you wait, there was no point in signing Freddie Freeman. There was no point in signing Freddie Freeman. There was no point in signing Freddie unless you're going to win another World Series with him. This is not your traditional. This is not signing a Machado or a Devers, guys that you're getting in their late 20s. You signed him when he was north of 30. What was the point? We're not talking about a good Freddie Freeman. We're talking about a guy who, since the start of last season, has the same weighted runs created plus as Shohei Ohtani, the best player of all time. Okay, I don't want to go that far, but
you said it.
I'm just saying. So yeah, I think you have to absolutely strike with this team. You got to burn the boats. You have to go all in. I'm telling you that in 30 years from now, if this team doesn't win another World Series with this group, you're going to look back and say, it's going to be a case study saying, yeah, the Dodgers, lots of sustainability, a great franchise, but they did less with more when you look at the World Series titles, and you're going to be compared to the Atlanta Braves. Do you want to be compared to the Atlanta Braves as far as that run? I want the Dodgers to be more of the late 90s Yankees, right? A team that's winning multiple championships. And I think that's truly what's at stake. And I do think that this team, as far as the ownership group, the Guggenheim group, I give them an A. I would have that bumper sticker on back of my car that my baseball team is an honor roll student at baseball elementary. They've got an A for me, but I want an A+. I want another World Series title, and I think that you do that because Clint, let me ask you, what is the other aggressive move? Going out there and get Scherzer, Verlander, the Ace RP?
Yeah, no, they're the better deal, the better move, the better team, the better trade partner is absolutely the Cardinals, and I think that was your title. Best trade partner is the St. Louis Cardinals. The Mets are old, busted, broken, and look at that team. It shows. Look at how bad that New York Mets team is. And yeah, you could say the same thing about the Cardinals, but they also had a massive shift in losing Yadier Molina, who was quite literally the heart and soul of that team. And also Adam Wainwright stayed 1 year too long.
Yes, he did. Bunch of stuff. First of all, that article 10 days ago, the Cardinals are the Dodgers' best trade partners this deadline. Here's all the players LA should target. So
10 days
definitely go to
nice plug.
DodgersNation.com for all of that inside information. Second, a lot of the comments do not want to see the Dodgers trade Bobby Miller. People are not happy even though Doug did say earlier he's pretty much untouchable, but the fact that you even brought him up.
So let me ask you down in the comment section. So you're telling me if that they want Bobby Miller, but you will get Nolan Arenado, and you'll get Jack Flaherty, possibly a Montgomery.
It's 1 year of Flaherty, or it's a rental Flaherty.
2 months of Flaherty, unless you can re-sign him.
That to me is scary. Gavin Stone is still highly regarded. Bobby Miller is a guy in your rotation right now. They don't need to win. The Cardinals do not need to win next year. They're not built to win next year. They need some guys that are going to be around. They're going to learn. They're going to learn with each other in this new system. The Cardinals, very well-regarded system as well. You give him Sheehan. You give him Knack. Throw in a Frasso. Give him the AA rotation. I don't give a crap, but you got to keep Bobby Miller because he's a guy who's helping you win ball games right now, and they need starting pitching, not to trade one away for one to come back. not somebody who's in their rotation right now.
Look, I love Bobby Miller. I was the first one to call him Bobby Ice, of course. Remember, I brought up the story about him being an ice cream truck driver. By the way, Bobby Miller, fun fact, during a summer, he drove an ice cream truck. He was an ice cream man, so he's Bobby Ice. Got the ice in his veins. I love the swag. I love the show chains. I love the drip. I'm just saying that if you need to trade him, which I don't think the Dodgers will, I think they're going to want to protect Bobby Miller at all costs. But, hey, if that's what it takes, and the Cardinals, you're dealing with a rival. This is the two marquee flagship teams in the National League. If that's what it takes, we saw in 2021, you trade away your top two prospects, Josiah Gray and Keibert Ruiz, and you got the haul that you got. And look, that's just what this Dodgers team does. Look, back then, there was not one person on this planet that said the Dodgers would trade for Trey Turner, right? Yeah. So they're always going to have some tricks up their sleeves. There's always going to be some surprises. And look, I think that this team, the moves they're making, you're bringing in veterans. They know that after the deadline occurs, you can't bring in anyone else. They're going to want to definitely get ready for a run here. And I think that, yeah, I mean, what else are the bigger moves? If you're going to go aggressive, there's not that many other moves that you can make. But hopefully it doesn't require Bobby Miller. And the good thing is, the positive thing here is, like I said the other day, they're Amazon. They have everything you want. And sometimes if you don't want just one top-level prospect, top-level pitching prospect, then fine. We have multiple ones that you can give and provide, and some big league raggedy talent, like the Pepios and the Stones. I mean, there's other guys that have gotten their opportunities as well. But really the only thing that matters to me is, are the Cardinals trying to rebuild on the fly and still win with Goldschmidt and Arenado as their core? That's still a possibility, so we just don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, if they trade Arenado, then it's clear they're moving out of this phase of them trying to win, and it makes sense for them too, because they're also losing some other dudes. A couple comments I wanted to hit first, and I know this guy's got some more. Adam says, I don't want Max traded, Muncy, unless he's going to the Cardinals. I don't know why. I.E. Doyer popped in. A friend of the show says, to be fair, Clint, you also said a few days ago no ex-Dodgers are coming back. I said no, I don't want any ex-Dodgers coming back. That's what I would have preferred. Not very big on the Kike thing, as I already said. And I know there's a super chat. Hit that button, because I want to read this one. I'm making this one the Hornito Shot Taker. Here's your Hornito Shot Taker of the day, because this was another good comment I wanted to address, and I don't think... Oh, wait, I got to scroll down to find it. I lost it. There it is. Nicholas Ramos. Yep. Did we do the Ramos one?
No, I was going to get to that one.
So I like this one. So Nicholas, he is our Hornito Shot Taker of the day. Would the impact Arenado makes outweigh the team chemistry lost by trading away CT3 and Max Muncy? The team seems so tight right now. And that was the next thing I wanted to bring up. I wrote it down. I didn't. I lied. I just lied now. But I wrote it down in my brain in that... Again, what Dave said is we want to add the right people. I would imagine they also want to not subtract the right people. However, these aren't your daddies. These aren't your mommy's Dodgers of 2 years ago. We learned that when they let Justin Turner walk. They left him on red, and he walked and found out he wasn't going to be a Dodger anymore when JD Martinez is a Dodger and Doug announces it in the damn in the parking lot at the hospital there. Like, they are willing to move some pieces. They're over the era of, like, let's just run it back. We're eventually going to get there. Let's just run it back with these guys. And if CT is traded, if Max Muncy is traded and Nolan is brought in, then that just marks more of that progression into, baseball's a business, but also business is fun when you're winning.
Yeah, no, I think these are all fantastic points. I think you bring up the best point is a lot of people like to romanticize about that era of Dodger baseball, which we all loved with the team chemistry. It was a lot of fun. That core, this is different. Winning. This is different. It is nothing like that. It's about two people. Kershaw is treated like a god there. We know that. But as far as the clubhouse goes, Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. As long as those guys give that the stamp of approval, that's all that matters. That's the bottom line. And we know that Nolan Arenado, he hangs out in the offseason with Freddie Freeman. He hangs out with Mookie Betts. I mean, you talk about Freddie Freeman, him having the same trainer. That would not be an issue. And look, the bottom line is these players want to win. Look, like I said, the mission has not been accomplished. Look at Mookie Betts. He said rings plural, right? You think Freddie Freeman doesn't want to win a ring on the Dodgers, maybe beat the Braves in the NLCS and absolutely give them the middle finger and just stick it to them? I know that Freddie Freeman wants to do that. So these guys are as hungry as they've ever been. And look, just sometimes in Chris Taylor, yeah, it would be sad. I mean, Clutch Taylor. I mean, look, the Cardinals know how good he is. He hit the walk-off shot in the wild card game, of course, against Reyes, who, broke that story. But, I mean, Chris Taylor, he's 12 home runs this year. He's been better, but he's also dealt injuries. His versatility is not as felt on this team as it has been in years past. And look, the reality, guys, is, look, we want to keep all these prospects. We want to keep these guys in Dodger blue, but you can't sell the cow and drink the milk, okay? You have to give up something to get something, and that's just the reality of this situation. So it would be definitely a sad day, but I mean, come on, Chris Taylor. Look, Michael Jordan played on the Wizards, okay? I mean, Joe Namath played on the Rams. I mean, we know how many stories do we need to really talk about this?
I would take Nolan Arenado overpaying, what is it, $16 million in each of the next 2 seasons to Chris Taylor to, struggle through some injuries and hit 225 or whatever the hell it's going to be. Noah, what else is going on in the chat? I think we got another one.
We do, but first, I've had this chat screenshotted for so long because I just needed to read it. AB said, I would trade my wife, dog, and 2 cars for one of D-Mac's socks.
Are you serious?
Doug is currently taking off his sock. Doug, put your dogs away, bro.
That's kind of a low key, or
okay. Doug's sock is officially AB. This is probably your best day ever.
All right, Chuck, you know what? Honestly, I don't like the
Give
Niners.
me your address.
But
I'll send this to you.
Sock game better on Noah.
Oh, I'm not gonna take my sock off.
Does it smell like?
He's a Niner fan.
Does it smell like moldy beer?
It does.
In some
Smells
I
like
was gonna
moldy
say there has to be some
Jalapenos.
chewy residue in there,
It
but
is.
also
Why are my feet sweating?
All right. Oh no, I didn't have it pushed. Super. Put that Doug quote on a T-shirt. Why are my feet sweating? All right, we got 2 super chats.
Put it on the wall.
First, put it on the wall. Michael Carrillo. These are going to be some other trade ideas, so maybe you'll get to them. I mean, you'll get to them later, but I'm just going to say them now. I don't want to lose them.
Yes, sir.
$2 from Michael Carrillo. He said Keller plus Hill plus Moretta is a good package from Pittsburgh. So obviously Mitch Keller, Rich Hill, and I think it's David Moretta, something like that. I don't think it's David, but something like that. That would be, 2 starters in Hill and Keller. And then another super chat. Got to scroll down for this one. $5 from Nintendo Deals said, can't wait for Nolan Arenado bobblehead night. So that's a fun one. Obviously, love to get that Dodger. And then we got another one from Michael Bilgen. He said, trade for Eduardo Escobar and Michael Lorenzen now that Giolito's off the table. So again, 2 starting pitchers, both from the Tigers. Now that Giolito's off, so obviously the Hill, Moretta, Keller, and then Eduardo and Michael Lorenzen, and then Arenado bobblehead. Got them all.
Yeah, I would say, Can
we get a bobble arms?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I like
Freddie
that.
bobble
I like
arms?
that. I like that idea. Get the Freddie one? That'd be outstanding. But yeah,
Dodgers, get on it.
Those are all guys that, not tons of needle movers in there. The Pirates are looking to contend in the next couple years. That's why they probably won't move Bednar, who still is pre-arbitration. And, yeah, I would love to have Rich Hill back. I think Rich Hill gets moved. They like his leadership in Pittsburgh. I think he possibly ends up on a team like the Brewers or a team like that. But, yeah, it'd be great to have Dick Mound back, the best nickname in the game. As far as some of those...
Stop bringing back old players. Literally old, but players, anyways.
Yeah, no, look, I love the... And look, like I always said, you don't want to bring the bland back together, right? We talked about that in the offseason. You definitely don't want to do that. But if it's someone that can help, it does make some sense. Michael Lorenzen is a guy that he's absolutely going to get moved as well. If you look at him as a pitcher, he's had a lot of success this season. He makes the all-star team. He's not a big strikeout guy, though. Not a big strikeout guy. If you look at some of his expected stats, they're not great. We know the Dodgers will be looking at that. He kind of is what he is. Escobar, if you look at a contract situation, you brought up some of his issues that he had as far as left, so I just don't see that as a nice fit for this Dodgers team. I don't expect that move, but yeah, I think if I'm going to go that route, I'm going to get pitchers like that. I'm probably going to look towards the New York Mets to see if I can get a Max Scherzer, one of those guys, because we saw Stephen Cohen, what he was willing to do was he was willing to pay some of that salary just to get prospects, and we know that the Dodgers' best prospects in the game's top shelf stuff, so maybe that's a possibility.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Sorry, I got distracted at one point because there was a very odd comment from Norman. He said, "Cards catcher just got smacked in the head. He's leaking."
What?
He leaking.
Which is
he's leaking, soaking wet.
To see that happening while Doug is over here spitting, that is a funny ass comment to read. Thoughts and prayers to Wilson Contreras if he got hit, if it is Wilson. But
also, we got a little pause here, so I'm just gonna do one of these real quick.
All right. Hey,
Noah Ortega. Ortega again. Noah Ortega again, 199. He said CT3's 2021 home run probably still haunts the Cardinals. Honestly, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They haven't been good since.
Yeah, definitely.
He broke them. Shout out Alex Reyes. Doug broke that story also.
Doug broke that story.
Now the
I can't
baseball
wait to have him
gods
back in mid-June, yeah.
The baseball gods definitely need to see that Dodgers Giants NLDS. So They were just in the way.
So that's probably a good button up on Nolan talk, where I think everybody now is fully on board, fully aboard with the idea of that we need to get this guy here because he makes sense for now. He makes sense for 2 years from now, and also you brought up the Braves earlier. The Dodgers need to get better than the Braves to beat them in the postseason. They need to get all these teams all around baseball have gotten better since the Dodgers went to the World Series in 17, since they went to the World Series in 18, even 20. You could argue teams have gotten better roster around the league. They've gotten the rosters have improved. So the Dodgers need to take it one step further, and you take it 2 steps further with Nolan potentially. Doubling back a little bit, we didn't really touch on the Scherzer or not Scherzer, sorry, the Syndergaard thing. His name already escapes me, but I know you probably already touched on it a bit in your video that dropped yesterday. So do check that out. YouTube.com/DodgersNationTV. TV, hit the bell, like all that kind of stuff. Thoughts on them bailing on Scherzer? And whatever, Syndergaard. They all look the same. Syndergaard, and we'll give Noah 20 seconds to atone for his terrible decision for them to sign Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah, you got to give a lot of credit to this organization. The ability to get something for Syndergaard, to be able to get something for nothing.
Impressive.
A guy that had essentially no trade value. If you look at that Cleveland team, they have some guys that are on their innings limit, so they're hoping that they can fix him, and they're hoping that hopefully he can eat some innings for them, but he was never going to have an impact for this team. His rehab starts were mediocre at best. He was never going to find that velocity. To me, after he said the creepiest thing I've ever heard a baseball player ever say, that he would give up his unborn son to be the pitcher that he was, after that was the ultimate red flag. So Syndergaard is Syndergone, an ERA, 7+ ERA, 12 starts. It just didn't happen. And look, if you look at this organization, they're not going to fix everyone, okay? They're not miracle workers. They will optimize guys, but for him, he was so velocity reliant that he was never going to work out. And that's kind of why before the season, when you guys asked me who's going to be my most disappointing player of the year, I said Noah Syndergaard. And the reason I said that was because there's nothing from an expected level that led me to believe that he was going to rediscover that velocity, and that I just didn't think that he was going to have the same success as we've seen some other reclamation projects in the past.
Noah Cameras, you were heavy on the Syndergaard. You put him on your Hanukkah wish list.
I did.
You really sold out a couple designated Twitters.
Yeah. You know what?
What went wrong?
Here's what went wrong. We got that fake report from Bob Nightingale that was like his velocity's back. Doug's putting his sock back on. His velocity's back to 99. He's back to being up, and it gets everyone all excited. His velocity was like 92, 93 the whole time. Obviously he doesn't have the stuff to pitch. So, I made a mistake. I thought it would work. Like Doug said, the Dodgers can't fix everyone, but I'm very impressed for them to not only get off of him and that experiment, but also get an actual serviceable MLB player who's going to contribute to this team. 822 OPS against lefties. It's pretty impressive they were able to turn that bum contract into an actual serviceable player this year. So, you know what?
It's unbelievable.
It's a good trade for both sides, too, because Cleveland desperately needs innings right now with Bieber dead and the other guy dead. I don't know. Nobody cares about Cleveland as a baseball organization, but still, the Dodgers got something that could be value, and if not, it's a wash in a little bit of, dead money or whatever the hell it's going to be.
Yeah, no, exactly. They moved on from Syndergaard. They did it when they had the opportunity to, and it's definitely something where not only do you get a player in return, you get a guy that has the potential to really help you and play a role for this team. But yeah, Noah Syndergaard, it just never was going to happen. He said he was going to get back to 100 miles per hour. He said that everything the Dodgers touch turns to gold. Not in this case. So yeah, it's unfortunate. I hope that the reputation of Dr. Mark Pryor doesn't take a hit, to Connor McGinnis doesn't take a hit, and I think
because you have Chris Martin, you have Ryan Brazier,
Tyler Anderson last year.
This
tons
year
of examples. Yeah,
Tyler Anderson's gone, and he's booty for the Angels.
But my issue though with Noah Syndergaard, and the reason why I don't have tons of sympathy, is this guy, you can't try to be the guy you were. He needed to reinvent himself. He needed to look over at Clayton Kershaw and say, hey, when you lose your 95-mile-per-hour fastball, what'd you do? Oh, I started throwing more slider. I found another pitch. He refused to do that.
He really did.
Yeah, to me, he's like Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite saying, I can throw a pigskin a quarter mile, right? No, you're not that guy anymore, okay? You needed to move on. So, yeah, Thor was a thud, and that's just the reality, and he just was never going to be that guy for this team. And hopefully it's a little bit of a learning lesson. But I will say, though, what I always say is no such thing as a bad one-year contract, okay? One-year deal.
He says a lot of things.
Do I really? I can't, do I do that? All right, I'll stop doing that.
I mean, you want the dub, you got a slug. There's no such thing as a bad one-year
contract.
My sock kind of stinks.
My stock. I think I need to wash these socks. How many times do you wear socks before you wash them?
Once.
Every time you change your socks.
Wear them once and wash them. Oh, no.
Is this a thing? Guys, drop into the
Oh,
comments.
no.
What if it's
How often do you wear your socks?
Okay, I'll just change the subject. Apparently,
Yeah, I'm actually going to change the subject
Okay.
here because I'm going to do one of these.
okay.
Don't need to talk
Doug
about
McCain.
This sock smells. This stinks as bad as Syndergaard was with the Dodgers.
Okay, all right, there it
was
is.
all. I will
Made
say
it.
it was all for a bit.
Yeah,
You got
there
a
it
super
is.
chat for us, Noah.
Noah Ortega, third time.
Again.
He's 199. Noah
Hat
just
trick.
said, nice and simple. Here's another super chat. Thanks, guys. I mean, that is a very, and again, we had over 1,000 people, so make sure to hit that like button and, of course, hit that subscribe button because we
Awesome.
are going to be here all trade deadline. Long to be a
it's like all
long trade deadline.
I was like, we can't do that.
Yeah,
Doug's
no,
got to get the
Doug has
Dodgers
to go to
Stadium.
I forgot about that.
And then one more, two more. I'm just going to hit the button one more time.
Yeah.
Why not, dude?
I'm gonna drink water while this is happening.
Yeah, I'll let it go for a second. We got two more super chat. You guys are the absolute best.
What?
Thank you.
What, Doug?
That's awesome.
I'd
First
say
one
thanks,
comes.
Mom, but she's dead.
First, all right. First,
Love you, Mom.
Can't.
don't know if that was necessary.
You just
but-
rib shot my mother's
well,
death?
you laughed. I didn't know. First one's from, this is bad timing. Hulk smash yo mom.
That is messed up.
Cannot script it any differently. He's 199 super chat. Hulk smash yo mom says, bring Nolan whatever it takes besides Bobby. Lol.
I thought he was gonna say Bobby Miller. Hey,
He said whatever it takes
Besides.
besides. And then Angel Villalobos. Villalobos, 4.99 super chat. Thank you, Angel or Angel. I don't want to. It could be either one. He said 2020 LA Dodgers reunion. Joe Kelly and Cody Bellinger next.
Oh no.
And we already have some
not doing
hell
that.
no to Cody. Here's no
you.
place for
Thank you.
Cody. Yeah, it was a very
that
quick.
Dodger uniform
do
is
we
a
have,
curse.
do we have any thoughts in there about the socks?
Yeah, Will W said DMAC change your socks every day.
I'm going
Thank
to
you.
now. From
Johnny
now on, I will.
Cage said, "What? You have to change your socks." Square ass
Listen.
Sosa said, "One wear, bro, even if it's for 10 minutes." Yeah, So he changed it.
You don't put 'em back
even
on.
if you wear them for 10 minutes. Act like that
The only
sock should have
time-
been
no,
washed
the only-
before going back on.
The only time it's okay to put them back on, you take them off, you get into a pool, and you put them back on, assuming you're
To go
at somebody
shower.
else's
What if I
house
put
or
cologne
whatever.
on it and I iron it? Is that okay?
Well, you could try deodorant. What if you
Deodorant,
just,
yeah.
like, put
Doug,
deodorant
hold
in
on,
the
wait,
soap?
hold on. I gotta help Doug here. Doug, cologne isn't a one-stop shop for all of your.
Axe
For him, it
deodorant.
is.
Yeah.
Axe.
Doug
I'll put Axe
showered
on
in
it.
we were in Arizona for what 10, 11 days together. Yeah, it kind of is for Doug.
Yeah, he also stole my deodorant. So.
Yes, he did.
I did. I apologize for
that's
that
blue,
one more
that's
time.
Blue heaven after dark, but interesting to learn about Doug's socks. But let's move on. A lot of Joe Kelly talk takes us into our final segment of the afternoon, of the evening, whatever you want to call it. We got to talk the pitching trade market because that's what we do. This time of year where it's all about trades and it's trying to address the needs of this team. And yeah, we've already talked a lot about one pitcher with Flaherty, and I guess you can kind of throw in Montgomery. But there's other things out there. Yes, we've mentioned it as well. Lucas Giolito off the market, goes to Anaheim. The White Sox have said Cease will not be traded. Maybe that's just a smokescreen, probably, potentially, because like you said, hey, you throw the right amount of money in prospects at any team, anybody is available.
You're gonna listen at least.
So if the Dodgers are going to get one starting pitcher, and let's not do the Flaherty, let's move on from Flaherty. Who else is there? We already talked about Stroman a bit in the past couple of weeks. You got Scherzer, you got Verlander. Lance Lynn is the one that's kind of been. Everybody knows drinking water. If you guys couldn't hear it,
Oh shoot!
Lance Lynn is one that now is picking up steam in the rumors, which is kind of annoying. I would hate to see them bring home, three mid players or bad players. But what do you think about the Lance Lynn stuff? Does this register any Dodger dogs for you?
I mean, as far as it depends on what they get from him. I mean, if you look at the deal they just pulled off for Rosario, if you get him on the cheap for something that doesn't require a ton of top talent, of course, any top talent at all whatsoever, maybe you consider if you strike out on other guys because they need someone to eat innings. They need someone to go out there they can trust. At the very least, Lance Lynn is a guy that's been able to do that. As far as what he does good, what does he do at an above average level? Really has a lot of Dodger blue on his baseball savant page, but there is some red. I mean, above average when it comes to strikeout rate, when it comes to whip percentage, when it comes to fastball spin, and also, Clint, if I liked you before, I probably like you still, right? And the Dodgers, they almost pulled off a trade for Lance Lynn at the deadline in 2020 when he was on the Texas Rangers. And maybe they say to themselves, look, I mean, if you look at his ERA, it's bad. It's a 6.47 ERA. But if you look at his expected FIP, it's at 4.03. If you look at his BABIP numbers, they're at 3.28. So there are some numbers that suggest that if he could have some positive regression to the mean. He's not a game changer. He's not a needle mover. But couldn't you just see Lance Lynn, if he gets an opportunity, gets hot in one postseason game and kind of goes deep into a game, I would trust him more than I would some other options out there. I mean, I could see him having a better start than Giolito in a postseason game.
He is he screams as the type of dude that the Dodgers can fix. That Mark Pryor, get him in the lab with a pen and a pad. They're going to figure it out. And,
Trying to get his damn label off.
Thank you. He gets it. This guy gets it.
I have that.
Synergy right there. Corporate bondage. It's not a sexy move. Absolutely not. But if the Dodgers are going out and getting a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, you know, if they're shopping at Sprouts, is that still a thing?
I never been. I heard it's pretty
Sprouts,
good.
Right? Yeah.
They have $5 sushi Wednesdays.
God, that sounds not good.
No, it's normal sushi. They just do it for $5. Well, it's market sushi. It's good. Though.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
You trust market sushi?
I'll eat any sushi. Put that on a quote graphic. All right.
He ate all of the fish in Arizona.
You can buy at groceries at 7-Eleven. That's what I do. There's that one section by the candy bars, the sandwiches, and the fruit.
Ate every fish that's ever been
get
grown
milk at
in
7-Eleven.
Arizona.
Yeah, first of all, guys, I got breaking news here. Mr. Cody Lou is in the house.
Oh, my goodness.
Good on, producer Cody.
Why do you think you were going to say the Dodgers got Nolan Arenado?
Wow, so am I not as good as Nolan Arenado?
Oh, you're better.
Hey, Cody, you'd be proud.
What's going on, Dodgers
biggest
Nation?
He's been crushing it, man.
Nah, no, I was listening. I was on the way here. I was like, damn, I probably shouldn't even stop by, to be honest.
Yo, got time for a chat?
Yeah, I mean.
All right, what are we talking about? Dodgers baseball. That's what we're talking about.
And then Joe Kelly. So Joe Kelly.
So there's a twofer that you would be able to get from the White Sox. So riff a bit about more about the Lance Lynn thing. Because again, I agree, or I feel that is a guy that definitely profiles as a buy low, fix now, and restore and go put him on the auction block the next year or whatever it is. And we know the Dodgers need pitching. He has an option next year as well.
Exactly.
Both of those guys, really, if we're talking Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly. But
Joe Kelly is a guy that can help this team. His velocity's up 2 ticks, averaging 99 miles per hour on the sinker. If you look at his ERA versus FIP and his expected numbers say that he should be having a lot more success. We know that's something this organization is going to consider. And I mean, he has had injury issues. That's something that I factor in. You saw in 2021 against the Braves. When he was done, he's done. And that's just kind of the case with Joe Kelly. So that's definitely always a concern. But I do think that he's a guy that has tons of upside. He gives that strikeout, that different dynamic that I think this bullpen definitely needs, especially in the postseason. He's got the kind of stuff that plays up. He's got the kind of electric stuff that I was hoping to get from Alex Reyes, that kind of stuff, but his velocity is even higher. So he's a name that I wouldn't be gung-ho saying, they need to get Joe Kelly. But if they can get Joe Kelly and the price isn't too high, this is the best version of Joe Kelly that we've seen in years. It's not like we're seeing the first version of Joe Kelly when everyone said he was a bust when he signed that 3-year, $25 million deal with the Dodgers, when he was getting booed at Dodger Stadium. He's figured some things out. His pitch mix, the velocity. I think that there's some upside there. And you pair him, it's like if you go out and get just Joe Kelly, I don't know about that, but it's just sweeten up the deal. You get another starting pitcher. So I'm not totally against the idea.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a Kelly on a 1-for-1, because there's no reason for the White Sox to hold on to him, but it's like, who is that one they're trading away? Because I would say if it's just him, anybody like in the top 15 of the system is probably hands off, definitely top 10. But there is a need for a reliever, and like I think I was telling both of you guys before we hit the live button, I would rather have Joe Kelly pitching in a baseball game than Phil Bickford. I would rather have Joe Kelly pitching in a baseball game than Yency Almonte. I'm not buying the smoke. I'm sorry, I'm not buying the smoke and mirrors. Whoever's pulling back the curtain in October, they're just not. Those are not October pitchers. Joe Kelly has kind of been there and done that in the past, and his run with LA in 21 was hurt. in 19 was Howie Kendrick grand slam. But I kind of put those on Dave and putting the team in that situation. Still, is it the sexiest thing? No. Is it bringing back a former Dodger, which I'm less inclined to want to do? Yeah, but it's one that makes some sense because he's one of the better relievers available on the market. I also do think a lot of teams are going to be in on him, which is going to drive up the market. So it might not be a 1-for-1, might be a 2-for-1, and that might be too steep. But then again, they're not my prospects. I don't care.
There is something to that for sure. I mean, I think when you look at the asking price for Joe Kelly, premium relievers, they don't come cheap, especially in this market. It's definitely a seller's market. But Joe Kelly, we're talking about Tapatio Joe Kelly. We're talking about Jose Kelly, Mariachi Joe Kelly.
Everybody's like I don't
get the band back together. No, just some of the guys. I don't care. This guy, I don't care if he owned the Astros and nice blank biatch,
but like going. I mean, I will admit you didn't open with that. You opened with, hey, his stuff is good. It's gotten better. We saw him pitch against the Dodgers a couple months ago or whenever it was. It looked pretty damn nasty. That stuff is pretty nasty, and he's not the guy who was throwing 17 curveballs in a row like he was in 2021 trying to figure it out. The stuff is there, and he's throwing harder than he ever has. And as long as he's not humming changeups through his window in Riverside, I think we're going to be okay. I lost my other train of thought, but I know we got something back there to back me up.
Joe Kelly.
Oh!
Yeah,
Hit him with the dance.
Cody, get in there. The creator of the Super Chat graphic, he's gritty in the back.
I hit him.
We got not one, not two, but 3 Super Chats. None are exactly on this topic. So I'm going to say, let's give like 30 seconds on an answer. We're going to start all the way at the top with Brent Rohrbach. So, Doug, you're going to give me 30 seconds here. Worried about Giants going after Shohei rumors. If you were him, why would you pick LA versus SF? We're going to talk Shohei for 30 seconds, Doug. So why would you pick LA over SF if you're Shohei?
I would say the Dodgers' ability to get premium talent, to get the Mookie Bettses, the Freddie Freemans of the world, and just a more of a proven track record of getting into the postseason. We know that what the Giants did with the 3 World Series, but the Dodgers, year in and year out, they're in the postseason. We know how aggressive they are from a financial spending standpoint. But I've said for months now, I said it when I did the video about Aaron Judge, that when they didn't get Aaron Judge, they were going to squarely pursue. It was going to be all eyes on Shohei Ohtani. And if you look at their stadium, makes sense for him as a pitcher and as a hitter. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's all about the fit, the money.
Traffic, parking.
Yeah.
Try living in San Francisco. I went there like anybody who's ever been there, it's absolute nightmare. And Shohei Ohtani, he's not jumping on BART, man. He's not jumping on the BART. All right, this is Shohei freaking Ohtani. He's not riding a tram to work.
All right, number 2. Oh, yeah, no, you finish.
Well, I would say the first
you
Japanese,
were only allotted 30 seconds.
First Japanese player ever, Masanori Murakami, was with the Giants back in the day, so maybe there's the connection there.
It wasn't at Phone Book Park or whatever.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
All right, so that's number 1. We got 2 more coming. Number 2,
I gotta go.
Allison Marie. Doug has to go to ping pong. All right, we're gonna go quick. Allison, if you have to go, we can swap out. Allison Marie, $5. If you had to trade either Cartaya or Russian in a big deal, which would you rather keep? Russian has been a stud, and Cartaya has struggled a bit.
I would say really none of them, hopefully, but Cartaya, you're selling him when his stock is lower, so I would probably say no to that. He has the potential to be a big power hitter. I mean, still has the upside for sure, but Rushing's a beast too.
Yeah, both really good. And number 3, Angel Villalobos. I can answer this one. He said, do you guys think Travis d'Arnaud is a good option to replace Austin Barnes? He signed an extension already. He's staying in Atlanta. Yeah. So no.
And it would be bringing back...
Thank you.
And it would be bringing back another former Dodger legend.
Yeah.
Travis d'Arnaud.
But also he signed an extension. He's not.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of Joe Kelly in the comments, man. No one gets the crowd going like Joe Kelly. I will say the Dodgers and Joe Kelly has always had a nice ring. Bitch. Oh.
I don't have the thing. I don't know which one it is.
There you go.
All right, do one more time.
Joe Kelly and the Dodgers have always had a nice ring. There you go.
Technically, he has 2 rings, one with the Dodgers.
Facts.
All right, now I know for next time. But thankfully, Cody was here.
Cody, it's a good, again, it's a good addition. It's a good addition to the bullpen that needs some help, but it's not. I guess it's a needle mover as long as you're getting a starter from somewhere.
Yeah, no, for sure.
If you add Joe Kelly along with Nolan Arenado and Jack Flaherty,
Eduardo Rodriguez is interesting, even though he can opt into those into the last part of that contract. So I'm not so sure about that. But if you look at some of his numbers, it's a little bit of a concern because you'd be under team control. You'd have to pay him for the last 2 years if he opts in. But yeah, there's some other names out there. Going to be dropping another video on some starting pitching options in the next couple of days.
Oh, we dropped on our Dodgers Nation Twitter account a poll. I think it was earlier today. I'm pretty sure it was today. With Lucas Giolito off the board, who's a start top. Oh, okay. Do you even?
That was an accident. That was my bad, guys.
You know what? You better put $1 in the chat. No. The poll was, who is your top starting pitching target now with Giolito off the board? Stroman, Flaherty, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander were the 4 options. It's neck and neck with Stroman and Flaherty. So let's just play out this scenario, play out this game. Stroman, Jack Flaherty. I think I know who you're picking, but
I take Stroman as far as the year he's having right now. But unless it comes with a Nolan Arenado, that would change the game for me.
What if it came with a Cody Bellinger?
If it came with a Cody Bellinger, no, man. I don't want to go cross that bridge again. That train is out of the station.
All right, then.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I didn't know
for me,
there's a Cody Bellinger train.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, for me, although of that group, I think Stroman's interesting. I mean, Scherzer, Verlander, those are guys that have experience of being actual aces. And if the Dodgers are going for an actual ace, those are the 2. We know they're probably not going to trade Cease in Chicago. So it's really going to be slim pickings when it comes to the starting pitching market. So we'll see how it develops. I do think the target right now, if you go quantity, Flaherty, Montgomery, Arenado, I feel like it's the big move.
I know this guy's got it.
This time, it's for real. I think Lorenzo Gaddis was trying to make me feel a little better. $4.99 from Lorenzo Gaddis. What up, Doug? I hope they never bring Maxi Sad back. He already quit on us once. Dead arm, no guts. Plus, I don't think he likes how Dave manages. He went in on Max Scherzer.
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
look, I know why people do.
All that matters is the clubhouse likes him. Apparently, the clubhouse would be fine with having him back. That's what Dave Vassay said. So, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, hey, I'm just saying. I mean, if I'm not saying I'm that absolutely gung-ho on the idea, but I'm just saying if you want to go out there and get an ace, they also have David Robertson, who would be one of the best relievers you could get at this deadline. Tommy Pham, I know you guys don't want to get trade for Tommy Pham. Ottavino's another guy that could help this team. Canna could help this team. There's a lot of Mets players that could help this Dodger team.
I mean, there are a lot of mid players available on this trade market. We will not be live again until Monday. And then we'll be live for a good chunk of the day on Tuesday, up to and through the trade deadline for lots of reactions. So subscribe, hit the bell, leave a like, do all that. It really helps out the channel. Doug, between now and Monday, let's just say Monday, what do you think's going to happen?
Man, the way that the trades have been going earlier this year, I wouldn't be shocked if the Dodgers did their business before the deadline, because a lot of times the deadline is underwhelming. At the last hour, I think teams like to get things done. Teams like to discuss deals. I think there's communication right now with the Dodgers and other teams. I do think whatever move that they've made is probably going to occur at some point before Monday. I don't think it's going to come down to the last day. I think if they're going to do a deal, you're going to see probably something sooner than that. I mean, obviously, we saw Max Scherzer and trade turn at the buzzer. So
yeah,
we have so many different examples.
Do you think we hear much about it before, or is it going to be very much an out-of-nowhere buzzer beater like we saw with Scherzer and Turner?
I think this year, when you look at the names that are actually available, there's just not the market where there's those surprise candidates that are on shorter-term deals that the Dodgers might have been after. So I don't think it's going to be a big shocker this year. You can never count the Dodgers out because they have the resources to get anyone they want, essentially, if there's a player available. But I do think that they're going to want to get something done sooner than later, and this will be really the first time. Last year, of course, they got Gallo, they got Martin, but those were guys that there was not tons of competition for. If they go out there and they make a blockbuster trade, this will be the first time in this new era where we have an additional team in the postseason that they went out there and made a big move. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how everything develops. So hopefully, it's the Arenado news, man. I do think, like I said, the Dodgers, their only competition is themselves. And if they want to find a way to get that deal done, if they're hell-bent and they are enamored with him, as people are saying, as the LA Times is reporting or ESPN's reporting, then I think that, hey, that's a move that could be made. If it happens this weekend, it'd be exciting.
It'd be very exciting. And we will be here. We live here. That is what we do. Doug, the last thing I have to ask you, what's, in your opinion, what's the most embarrassing question you're about to ask at the ping pong tournament?
Oh,
so people can be ready to keep an eye out for the ping pong. Clayton Kershaw they're doing the 8th annual ping pong, or it's 10. It might be the 10th annual ping pong for purpose tournament over at Dodger Stadium. So Doug's about to go out there and rub elbows with all them dignitaries.
Yeah, and I was gonna say,
I think Robert Ory's gonna be there again. So
yeah, no, I don't have anything crazy lined up now. As stuff like who's you be your first pitch in a pick in a dodgeball game, which were your teammates, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. We'll see. I usually cook it up in the moment too.
Journalism, baby. That's how we do it. That's how we do it.
I got some tricks on my sleeve.
The legendary Doug McCain. And we'll get a super chat on the way out of here.
We got a super chat on the way out. One more quick for the road, Doug.
All right.
Angel Villalobos, $4.99 again. What's most likely to happen? Kershaw doesn't come back next season, or Dodgers sell Austin Barnes? Maybe you should ask that question today.
Dodgers sell Austin Barnes?
So he means Dodgers trade Austin Barnes, or Kershaw doesn't come back next year. What's most likely to happen between those two?
Most likely is Clayton Kershaw not being back next
year. I mean, if we mean sell him, like just not have him back on the Dodgers.
I think he just means like get rid of him.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
I mean, they could go hand in hand. They could,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, for sure.
Give him the old yeet, the Austin yeet. Send him to Texas along with Kershaw. But guys, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you so damn much for the super chats. It really helps us feel all warm and tingly on the inner parts of our areas. Find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. Find us on the internet at InsideTheDodgers.com. We are not sleeping, so we can bring you all the trade coverage that is going on as it happens. Subscribe to Blue Heaven. We are on iTunes. We're on Spotify, iHeart. Everywhere your podcasts are available for free. Go there. If you're able to leave a review, leave a ideally positive one. That would help us out, or as many stars as you're allowed to give. And again, the best way to support us, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Hit the bell, leave a like, leave a comment on every video you ever see in your life on our channel. And Doug might send you a sock in the mail, which we hope he doesn't. They apparently stink. Thank you for the comments again. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the super chats again. I am RealFRG on Twitter and Instagram. That guy is DMac_LA on Twitter and Instagram. That is at Noah Cameras. Twitter, Instagram, Threads. Are you still doing the Threads? No, nobody's doing the Threads anymore. So at some point there'll be a thing. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see that. But we'll see you on Monday. Shout out to Cody. He'll be here then. So bye. Hey.